Hello, welcome to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Olga and this is a piece of my cat. And I'm a big fan of planners, notebook, stationery, and generally organizing my life through paper. I've been working with different planners for quite some time and I've been trying to develop my own system, but I decided to take a step back and imagine myself being just a beginner planner enthusiast and think about all of the things that me myself would have given, again to myself, if I would wanted to pick a planner. If you're looking for inspiration or if you're just thinking about getting your new planner or first planner, then stay with me. So tip number one, before going into your local stationery store or just exploring like various websites with planners, so maybe seeking inspiration from YouTube, my first tip and the most important one is stay simple. It is so easy to get overwhelmed by all these beautiful spreads and pre-printed materials and all these nice covers and like millions and millions of things that you potentially can do with your planner. But if you are a beginner, my advice would be, yes, try to stay simple, because if you go and take a planner that includes everything, starting from, I don't know, habit trackers to listing down your mood swings during the day, you might be really enthusiastic in the beginning, but in the end, it might not work out for you. So from my experience, it is better to start small and to implement one thing at a time and to experiment, but again, starting really simple. It will save you both money and time and allow you again to explore the world of planning before you actually just dive into the deepest hole of it, you know? Tip number two, sit down and think about the main purpose. Like, what is this planner / notebook / journal is gonna be about? It can be about your work, it can be about your personal life, it can be about your, I don't know, achievements or studying log, or I don't know, about your kids. There are so many different things that you can use your planner for, but it's just important to think and define what it's going to be. Obviously, it can be combined. Like in my own experience, I wanted to use a separate planner for my work tasks and for my personal tasks, but in the end, it didn't really work that well. First of all, it turns out that maybe I don't have that many tasks to fill in, like big gigantic daily pages, and then it was always nice to combine, because since I'm working from home, I can sometimes fill the gaps between, I don't know, some meetings or during my lunch hours with some home-related tasks that I have on my list, and it is just nice to keep it all in one place. So first of all, let's define what is the purpose of your notebook. Why this is important? Because it is going to help you to visualize how exactly you're going to use it and to understand how many spreads you need, how many pages you need, what those spreads can be, and stuff like that. So define your purpose. Number three, let's define your perfect planning layout. The classics include monthly planning layout, weekly, and daily, of course. And sometimes it can be combined, where it is suggested that you can, for example, keep your daily plans and then a separate spread for overall weekly tasks. Like, for example, you can use your Hobonichi weeks like that. Here it is important to understand which layout fits your needs the best, what will work the best. My advice here would be, try to think about your previous experience. Like, it's obvious that you have been creating some to-do lists and plans and goals, what they used to be like. Have you been planning for far away in the future, and usually maybe dividing your goals into months and then thinking about how to divide them into weekly goals, or maybe monthly was enough for you? Or maybe you're the kind of person who just want to wake up in the morning and have a blank page that you fill in with your to-do list for that particular day. So planning layout is really important because it also can save you some time and space. In my own experience, the layout that has proven to work the worst was probably the vertical weekly layout, like here in Hobonichi. I would rather have the overall to-do list for the week, and then in my daily plans, I would think about what exactly I want to do during that specific day, also looking back on the general weekly overview. So for me, this was just too much, something that I was not using at all. But then again, you can start with having it all, of course, and then seeing and experimenting how it works. But again, in order to save you some time and money, it's better to think about that beforehand and not to expect yourself to fill in all of these spreads at the same time. This can be too overwhelming when you begin. Number 4 is something that I talk about a lot, and this is size. So planners come in different sizes, starting with, I don't know, A5 or even A4. And then you also have super tiny like pocket, passport, and even tiny teeny notebooks that you can use as planner. Now, size is super important because it will define how maybe often you use it. Because if you're somebody who is seeking a notebook or planner that you can use daily and carry it around with you, then of course gigantic sizes or maybe even A5 is not the best option for you. Maybe you should go for something smaller like B6 or even maybe B5 or A5. So something that you can just throw into your purse or your backpack or your pocket and then have it with you at all times. So definitely think about that. My experience, again, for you, I bought Hobonichi A5 and it has proven to be too big because I'm, again, this kind of person who likes to carry around their notebook with me. Well, for example, when I go on vacation or on a trip, which surprisingly happens quite often, I want to have it with me because that helps me maintain my habit of my to-do lists and creating entries and logs of my days, So this step is super important, and I would maybe advise starting with B6 as something like in between. It's not that big, it's not that small, so it will allow you to again experiment and see whether it works for you or not. Number 5, let's think about customization. So there are some people for whom it is super important to be creative, and you probably seen like billion of videos on YouTube of people creating nice and beautiful spreads, and sometimes they can be pre-filled, meaning that there will be already some dates and timestamps or whatever. And sometimes it can be undated planners that allows you full freedom of customization and creating something that is super personal for you. Now, actually, I think that for beginner, it is better to have something that is already dated or pre-filled in advance, because that will help you to navigate through the possibilities, like how exactly you can use it and maybe not waste too much time filling in the pages and doing all these sorts of things. Don't be afraid of blank pages. It both applies to the fear of the blank page when you have to start, and then sometimes you just miss a day or you miss a week. Maybe sometimes you miss a spread completely, and it is totally fine. It is okay when you are starting. Don't feel overwhelmed by the necessity of creating pages and entries all the time. Again, navigate your way through it. Try to make a habit. Define the specific time when you're gonna use this planner and try to create something in it every single day, and then it will come naturally, because first of all, your habit will develop, and then you will actually write something that is necessary, that you feel like writing, that you need to write. Maybe in the end it will turn out that you don't need planner as such. Maybe you need a journal and then a small pocket notebook to maintain your to-do list in. So again, don't be afraid of blank pages. Just experiment and navigate your way through it. This is a very exciting journey. Well, at least for me, hope for you as well. Now, honorable mention is of course supplies. Again, here, let's go back to point number 1. Let's start simple. You don't need like a gigantic stationery full of different markers and colorful pencils and things like that. I think it's okay to start simple. For example, I use only 2 pens. One is super sharp, another one is a little bit thicker, which allows me to create headers and then to create lists or whatever I need to be created. Then I have a pencil, and well, pretty much this is it. I also have some stickers, and again, the world of stickers and washi tapes for planners is just endless. It's just an infinity, so you can get lost there. If you really want to implement something colorful, try to buy sticker packs, like a couple of them, maybe something that is related to some seasons or to-do lists, or just some funny cats like over here. So something that will add a little bit joy. But remember that you can always create something with your own hands. Like if you don't have a washi tape but you want to create something nice, you can just use your pen and maybe a marker. So again, let's start simple, and then you will understand what works and what doesn't work, what is missing. I think it is so easy to be tempted to buy all of this stationery thinking that that will allow me to create those beautiful spreads. But let's remember that our purpose over here is not beauty. First of all, it's about organization. So it is perfect to take the best from both worlds and combine them together, but I feel like for beginner it is more important to navigate your way through the layouts and spreads instead of beauty and stickers. This is my own opinion and this is how it worked for me. To this day I try to buy only a couple sticker packs throughout the year and use it whenever I just feel I need a little bit of juice added on my pages. Now, something that I really want to mention in the end is that you gotta remember that this is just an experiment, and keep it in your mind all the time. Like, I remember back in the day I purchased my planner, and then on the 1st of January I was like, yes, this is my new life, new planner, everything's gonna be different, and I was so excited. And for maybe first months I was consistently creating spreads and adding my to-do lists, and I was religiously following every single thing in this planner that I needed to fill in. But as the time goes by, this excitement, it fades away. But this is not a problem, and remember that it's okay. This is a natural process, because what happens is that everything that you actually don't need, it is just gone, and the things that you actually passionate about, they remain. This both applies, for example, to the layouts. Like in this example, I was using Weekly in the beginning a lot, but then it has proven to be not so useful for me and just consuming my time, because I was copying one thing from weekly to daily pages and maybe from monthly to daily. So it was constant experiment, and you gotta remember to analyze. It's okay if there are blank pages, but you gotta answer yourself a question why it has happened, and that would be your way of exploring the planner world and finding the thing that works for you. Now, of course, I had to mention something about bullet journals and pocket notebooks. So bullet journals is something that I have started with. Back in the day, I didn't buy filled in and dated planners. I would just go and buy a dotted notebook and I would create spreads on my own. And that was the first step that I has ever taken, and I think it was great. So maybe if you're a beginner, you don't need to go into Hobonichi or Sterling or whatever big brand that you see here and there on the internet. Maybe just buy a notebook and create some of the spreads for yourself. Spend a couple of hours, turn on your favorite Netflix show and just create some spreads and see how it's gonna work. And it's okay if it's not that beautiful or pretty, because here we're thinking that we are trying to understand what we need. Once we understand what we need, we're gonna upgrade. So bullet journal is a great way to start, but then for me, as I developed in my planner journey, I wanted to experiment with different layouts, with something that was already created. And honestly, I am super lazy and I don't want to spend time creating layouts for myself, so this is just specific for each and every one of us. In the end, I started using Pocket Notebook a lot, and it is also just a blank notebook that allows me to keep a lot of my tasks and to-do lists and inspiration and ideas over there. And next year, I'm going to combine only two things in my planning system, which would be undated planner and a pocket notebook. So if you're interested to see what I'm going to use in 2025, then stay with me, because I'm waiting for my shipment to be delivered and I'm going to show it to you straight away. And I hope that helps for anybody seeking inspiration or just suggesting of getting any planner for 2025 or maybe for tomorrow. Remember, your planner doesn't have to start in the beginning of the year. Your new life can begin on Sunday or on Friday or wherever you want. So With that, I'm gonna leave you, and I thank you so much for staying with me today. Your comment section is there for you if you have any questions or if you have any suggestion. And also, in my comment section, you would see people sharing a lot of really, really useful advices about planners or about life in general. So go there and check it out for yourself. And anyways, have the most beautiful and precious and amazing day, and I'm not taking any more of your time. So I'll see you soon. Bye bye.